You know what? I think it's time to jump into Halloween. Damn it! Let
It
me pull
is.
up my little
Oh,
list
yeah.
of. Oh yeah, because I don't want to. Because we can. You know how we three get. We start talking, man. We can't stop.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's start with the top 3 moments of the franchise. And chat, let me know your top 3 moments as well. I like for my chat to get interactive and play along here. Top 3 moments of the franchise, and I guess we can all like give one each and just kind of go around. I'll start because I know one of you guys is gonna pick it. The fireman scene from Halloween Kills. That's why I sported my Halloween Kills shirt today. It's got the fireman scene right on it. That scene is like it's fucking legendary. Seeing Myers walk out in slow motion with the rain coming down on him out of a burning building. I don't think you could make any slasher killer look more iconic than what that scene
Hmm.
did. And then to double down and him come out and just slay and just destroy all these firemen and just kicking major ass. Love the music that's in the background of that scene. I think people that I think there's people out there that hate Halloween Kills, but even they have to stop themselves with the fireman scene. You can't that scene, like, you can not say that scene's bad. It's just amazing. It's just amazing. So I'll start with that, and I'll roll it around to Nick. Nick, what is your one of your favorite moments from the franchise?
I'll get your. I'll follow along with you. I'll pick a moment from Halloween Kills, but not that one. A moment that actually legitimately made my jaw drop in the theater. The sequence in the Myers house with Cameron and Allison,
Fuck
and
yes.
I was sitting in the theater when he was beating the shit out of Cameron, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, the sound design was crazy.
Crazy.
And then when he's halfway down the steps, and just to be a dick
Just to be a
is like,
dick.
yeah, just to be a dick is like, oh, hold on, let me kill your boyfriend first. I was like,
Wow.
holy shit, dude. Now,
Dude.
all the momentum of that scene gets taken away when Judy Greer's standing in the street, like, yeah, just like Judith or whatever the fuck her stupid monologue. I'm like, just shut up. But like, that shit, brutal. Love that moment.
Oh my god. I gotta mention that moment too, because I remember sitting in the theater. That whole final act is what sealed the deal for me. I think Kills has one of the best final acts. Myers going out. I think he purposefully let the mob beat it. Go ahead, take your first lick. Let's see what you got.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets up and just freaking slays everybody. Yeah,
That would have been
Myers.
one of the best moments in the series had they not had to reshoot it on a soundstage. And I
Yeah,
hate the way it's shot because
yeah,
they were on a soundstage. It had to be really close and
yeah.
tight. So it's just, here's a hand, here's a gun, and I'm like, God damn it. Like, if this could have been from a distance, seeing Michael just destroy these motherfuckers in the street, I would have been like,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Oh my god! All right, Dave. I wanted to talk more about that scene. That scene is so badass with freaking Cameron. Like, I think Cameron got the most battle damage of any. Am I wrong here? Is he the one victim that got the most battle? Like, he was probably paralyzed or crippled before he finally died. He was just totally fucked up. Whereas
Mhm.
most people, they get it quick from Myers and then he moves on.
Hmm.
They get a freaking shotgun through the stomach. Man, Cameron, dude, that dude suffered
Dude, and
big time. And
the track over that unkillable while that unkillable's playing while that's happening, and it's just
oh my
like,
god,
holy shit. Like, I have a lot of problems with Halloween Kills, but like, you cannot say there's not some high highs in that movie, because there is.
okay,
Yeah.
David, it's your
I mean,
shot. Go for it.
yeah. I mean, just to talk about the Cameron thing really quick, I love it because by the end of the first movie, you hate this guy. He's got a nice redemptive arc in
Yeah,
Kills. So seeing him really get like the torture treatment. Yeah. And Michael doesn't usually play with his
Oh,
victim
we lost Davey.
that long.
yeah, we
So
lost him.
that was great. I did have the three that I put together because we were going to talk about the David Gordon Green trilogy, and I'm such a big fan.
Okay.
Oh, am I there? Am I
Yeah,
there?
yeah, you're there.
Hello, am I there? Am I
Yep.
gone?
Nope, you're good.
So, because we're going to talk about David Gordon trilogy, and they're all in my top 5 of the franchise, I was actually going to my 3 moments were all going to be from that trilogy. So I picked out the fireman one, but since we already talked about that, just, I love the fire with the water. You know, like there's something
Yeah.
about that juxtaposition and everything. Like wet Michael, even though the house is burning behind him. Look, and I saw somebody mention in that scene in the house is super brutal with what's her face, the two folks that live in the cemetery, or you know, she works at the cemetery there. I love that. There's something about that, kind of that weird childlike wonderment that Michael holds on to, like creating a piece of art just by stabbing a bunch of knives there. Great Michael Myers moment in there. But yeah, I mean, for me, if I had to pick one from Kills, it would have been the firefighter scene. Is just so badass. There's it's really cool to actually see Michael go through the whole process, you know, in that scene. So big fan of that one. That would be one of my favorite moments in the franchise for sure.
I'm going to go with Alley Girl here for my next pick. The ending of Halloween 2 when Loomis lights the fire. Just because I think, and by the way, we were talking about iconic chase scenes. I think out of the Halloween franchise, the chase scene in Halloween 2, it's up there. And it might be a favorite for some people. And I think it was probably a favorite of mine for the longest time, just because I think the music's, you know, you got the red room when it starts, and Laurie, she comes out of her like comatose or whatever, and she sees Myers like walking towards her, and then you got that scene is just iconic. But then where it ends up, and I think this is what makes Loomis Loomis. This particular scene right here, if you weren't sold on Loomis yet, this is the scene that sent you over the edge. And you know, Loomis became an icon when he gave his life for Laurie. He lights the match and he says, "It's time, Michael." He knew that the only way I'm going to be able to kill him is if I take my own life in this particular moment here. And so that's what he does. He's get out now. And she runs out, and that scene where she's running out and you see the freaking explosion and everything. Here's another scene with fire. I don't know what it is about fire in this franchise, but yeah, that scene is so freaking badass. Love it to death. So, Nick, I'll go to your next one.
All right, I'm gonna cheat here because like I can't not mention both of these, but I have an all-time favorite scene in the series, so that I'll save that for my next round. But I'm gonna double dip here. Same movie, so whatever, screw it. The kill of Octavia Spencer in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is probably my favorite kill in the entire Halloween franchise. I love the way that's shot. I love the way Michael looks, just kind of lumbering over her and just picking her up slowly, and then just, I mean, going to town.
Oh yeah,
and leaving the knife in the head was a nice touch too, a knife touch. And I'm also gonna say Annie's death in Halloween 2, and specifically when Laurie and her are talking and she's holding her and she dies, and then Laurie kind of has that moment to herself where she realizes her best friend is dead in her arms and stuff. Like, still watching that scene, I've probably seen the movie 100 times. It still gets to me because I'm like, God, dude, like, because you just think about like friendships you've had throughout your life that maybe you guys have become estranged a little bit, but there's so much love there for each other. And like, if that was your friend and you were in that moment, like all that you'd feel guilty about, all that was left unsaid, like, and then honestly, Laurie feeling like it's all her fault. Like this is all her fault that she brought this on Annie. Just a really, really powerful scene. Some of the best acting in the franchise is Laurie and Annie's moment there, and Brackett finding Annie. It's incredible.
Yeah, I think if you like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, it's the one movie that it grabs you and takes you on for the ride. So by the time you get to a scene like that, you're fully on board because you're just so locked in. It's not one of those movies, for at least for me anyway, where I throw it on in the background and I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm good. I can't help but put down the phone, put down whatever I'm doing, and just get locked into this movie because the scenes just really, you get really invested in where Laurie Strode is. You know, that's the one movie where Scout Taylor Compton, when she looks back on her career in Halloween, I think she should be the most proud of Rob Zombie's Halloween too.
100%. She didn't get anything to do in the first one. She was just trying to be like a typical teenage girl. Love or hate Halloween 2, you have to admit that like Scout really did have a chance in that movie to kind of spread her wings and make her, Laurie Strode, something very unique and different. And I respect the hell out of that. at the very least.
Yeah. Davey, let's hear your next one.
Yeah, so my next one, I'm going to go to everyone's favorite, Halloween Ends. I love the Corey kill rampage. Everything that happens at the junkyard, at the scrap yard, and then going into the radio station. There's something about, to me, he is the Shape at that point in the movie. And I love that they put somebody else in the suit behind the mask and everything like that. And there are some shots there. There's that really great shot during the junkyard scene where he's got the collar popped. It looks very much like Dick Warlock looked in the original Halloween 2. So I like that. And then, just everything kind of, especially during the radio scene, kind of seeing him in the background, taking out the receptionist before he goes in to take out the DJ. And I'm sitting there watching it and I'm like, this is Michael. Like, it feels like Michael. And it was just one of those moments where I was like, yes, I know, of course people bitch that it isn't actually Michael, but for all intents and purposes, for me, it feels like it. And one of the strongest moments in the franchise for sure.
I had to highlight Gold Standard. Remember, I think a couple streams ago, I was telling you guys, there's this guy in my comments, and it doesn't matter what I'm reviewing, nothing that has anything to do with Halloween, and he'll post in there something to dig at the DGG trilogy. He just hates it. Like, it lives rent free in his head. Like, he just hates it so much, and I love him for that. I think people, you have certain I don't know if you can call it trolls, sort of. And I don't mean that in a negative way towards Gold Standard, because I just think he likes to troll the DGG trilogy. I think that brings him happiness. Some people, it brings them happiness to shit on something that they hate so much, and they need to put it out there into the world. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I put it out to the world that I hate the Crow Wicked Prayer all the time, and probably a few Prom Night remake. Yeah, I can't wait for a chance to just completely shit, like diarrhea shit, all over the Prom Night remake every chance I get. So
that's right.
Yeah, that's
Lee. Talk about trolls. You should have seen the chat last night when Christian brought me on the panel. There was 2 separate people. As soon as I was revealed to be on the panel, they're like, "Oh no, I don't want to hear Nick talk about Halloween Ends." Nope. We're so I made a conscious decision. I was like, all right, I'm really not going to defend it. Y'all don't want to hear it. I'm not going to do it. No, they're out there.
Oh,
buddy.
good. My last pick, would have to be the end of Halloween 4, when this was pretty much the scene that hooked. Freaking changed my life, really. If you think about it, it changed my life as a movie fan. It made me the Halloween fan that I am today, and it literally scared the fuck out of me when Loomis is coming up the stairs. You're thinking we're done with this nightmare. It's over. We can tie everything up and have the credits, and then you see that mask come on. And I'm not going to lie, when I saw this in the theater, I thought that was Myers at first. I thought somehow he had come back and he was in the house. And then, so they got me. Because when you hear Loomis's reaction and then the camera shows Jamie Lloyd, in the clown costume holding up the knife, oh my God. And I don't think I was alone, because everybody in the theater, you could hear just this collective gasp, like, oh my God, it's come full circle. It's started all over again. And they could have literally ended the franchise at that exact moment, and it would have been perfection.
Say it, chill bumps. Say it.
Chill bumps. Yeah, dude, that is the ultimate chill bump moment in the franchise, when they're able to not only wow you, surprise you, but also scare you. That, because we don't get scared by much, but that scene got me. It could have been maybe my age at the time. I was 15, but even at that time, there wasn't much that scared me. But man, and I think sometimes we get scared by surprise. At least for me, as an adult, or a late teen, if something scared me, it was because it surprised me. It caught me off guard. It wasn't just something that I was like, oh God, something's going to come here and I'm going to see it and then I'm going to get, no, it was always like, I'm looking left and then they throw me right. And that's what happened with that scene. It just, oh my God. And I think that's why I get nightmares. I don't now, but at a certain age in my life, I used to get nightmares about Michael Myers. No other killer, no Jason, no Freddy, just Michael Myers. I don't know why, but it just happened. You can't control what you dream about, but I think it's because I just thought about him so much in my everyday life. It's a little to a weird level. I used to think about Myers every day, and I would come up with these Myers movie like moments in my head that I'm kind of conjuring up myself. Like I used to have this idea of Myers at a carnival chasing Jamie Lloyd. I don't know why. It was just something. And so I would have dreams about Myers chasing Jamie Lloyd in a carnival setting. So, yeah. So that's my last pick. Nick, what's your last pick?
I just want to say, when I was a kid, I used to play with toys and like make new Halloween movies, like with the toys. Like I would like pretend like I was making a movie with my action figures. But no, so I just kind of want to like I want to put all you guys in like a frame of mind for a second. Like I want you to think about, because this is my favorite sequence in the entire series, probably my favorite horror sequence, period. Not even probably, it definitely is. You're a kid, you're preteen, early teenager. It's Halloween night. You've already trick-or-treated and you're at home, and John Carpenter's Halloween is on AMC Fear Fest. And it gets to the moment where, it's that time of night too, like Halloween night, where it's creepiest. Like the trick-or-treaters are done. And I don't know, there's just this vibe in the air. And you're sitting there watching that movie, and the moment that Laurie says goodnight to the kids, and then the next thing you know, she's on the outside of the door and she's locking it to go across the street, and Laurie's theme starts playing.
Yeah.
From that moment forward to the end of that movie is my favorite sequence in the entire Halloween franchise, because it feels so much like the end of Halloween night as I remember as a kid. Like you're in bed, it's really quiet, nobody's around. It feels just ghostly. Like, she walks in this house, she sees her friend's body staged for her because Michael's a dick. And then he just pops out of the black and stabs her. And then it's a chase. And I mean, I remember just being a kid, and when she's banging on the door and she's like, open the door, open the door. And he's just coming across the street. And you're like, fuck, no, Tommy. And he's such an asshole. He's up there and he's like, who is it? And he's like, yeah, okay. Like, dude, weren't you crying all night about the boogeyman? And you got your babysitter out here like, open the door, motherfucker. And you're just like, whatever.
Show some urgency, Tommy.
I know, but my God, like that sequence, that entire sequence is just like, there's suspense, there's atmosphere, it's the moment in the movie where Jamie Lee Curtis, I think that's what made Jamie Lee Curtis. Like everything else up to that point in the movie, she's very milquetoast, very bland. She doesn't get a lot to do. But when it's time for her to scream and run and fight back, it's like, oh shit, okay, this chick might actually have the goods. And it's just my favorite sequence in horror. Just incredible.
It might be one of the reasons why we all love the first Halloween so much, because there's just an undercurrent. And I've stated this probably 100 times before, but there's just an undercurrent of that movie that I don't even know if it was planned by Carpenter. Like, how do you create that? There's something that doesn't, like, you can't physically see. It's just there.
You don't. That just comes from genius. You have it. You have it or you don't. And that guy has it. Like
he has it because he's done it multiple times. And like even the first Halloween is separated from the rest of the franchise because Carpenter directed it. And so it definitely has that Carpenter stamp. I think there's a little bit of that in Halloween 2 and 3 even, but because Carpenter was involved. And so maybe just his DNA gets on whatever project he's a part of. Which makes me think Halloween, the David Gordon Green trilogy, I didn't feel a Carpenter vibe to it. I think he's just in the background collecting his check. But when he actually, and maybe it was a time frame thing too, when he was, younger in years and he was just at the top of his game. But man, he gave us the ultimate gift of Halloween. It's so good that they probably get sick of it because everybody talks about Halloween. And I think every year it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger because you can't help but throw it on during October.
It's my last watch on Halloween night.
You have to.
The last couple years, it's been A Nightmare on Elm Street, After my son gets done trick or treating and he goes to bed, I watch A Nightmare on Elm Street, I watch Trick or Treat, and then I watch Halloween. And that's 4.5 hours of movies. And I don't give a shit if I have to work the next day. I do it every year, and I
Yep.
end my night with Halloween always.
Yeah, my tradition is usually October 1st and October 31st. I bookend the month with Halloween. I don't achieve that every year, but that's usually my goal. I like to start off the month and end the month with Halloween. And the experience is a little bit different both times. Not none worse, none better. It's like let's kick off the month with something that's just really creepy and feels like an old friend, and then let's end the month on a high note with something that just kind of still it still puts a chill down my spine when I watch Halloween. It's the one movie where you put it on, if you close your eyes and you hit play, and the first thing you hear is that theme. And when you hear that theme, there's a chill that just runs down your spine, and there will never be another score in the franchise as good as the first one because
Yeah,
of its simplicity.
you get those 16th notes on the hi-hat to kick everything off. It's a
Yep,
nice
yep.
little it feels like this whole experience. And I was going to say what Richard had said there in the chat a little ways up, when you guys are talking about the final, especially the suspense in the final act there. I think Dean Cundy's cinematography is a huge part of giving the original Halloween a feel that is just something totally different. So it's
Thank you. Yes.
the genius of Carpenter, of course, and the music and everything like that. But I really do think the way the decisions they made behind the camera or with the camera really build that suspense in the final act. And I mean, it's the blueprint for pretty much every, slasher movie moving forward. They all wanted to try to get some sort of magic like that with a chase scene. So,
Let's
and I
rip off
do think that,
Halloween.
Cundy's camera work is what makes Halloween just looks so much more cinematic than like the original Friday the 13th films or
Yeah.
even A Nightmare on Elm Street. It's not like those movies are poor. There's just something that's like technically more elevated in a movie like Halloween.
Yeah, there's a lot of movement in the camera. Not in every scene. It stays stationary when it needs to, but
Hmm.
I do notice that when I watch the movie, there is a lot of moments where the camera's just like slowly moving in certain directions, and I think just that movement adds another layer of creepiness to it. Let me get this
Hmm.
super chat, and then Davey, I'll get your. I don't. Did I get your final favorite
No,
moment?
not yet.
Okay,
Not
so let
yet.
me get this super chat, and then we'll get your final moment. So, W final guy, Loomis saved her twice in one night. I think he's talk. Which movie did Loomis? Probably two,
Halloween
or
2, I
maybe.
Well,
think.
does one and two take place on the same night? So he saved her twice.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right. So yeah, all right. Davey, what's your last one?
My last one, just sticking with that DGG love. Sorry,
Yep.
Gold Standard. The quote unquote one shot. I know there's some cuts in there, but it is the most. I know I've said this before. It's the most interesting Michael has ever been to me since the very first film. In that shot, there's something like I'm just sucked in. I'm so curious with what
Yes.
his thought process is, if he even has one, or if he's just sort of like guided by random inspiration. There's just something so great about the music and again the way they use the camera, the lighting when Michael walks up to the window and crouches down and you see the reflection of him in the window. I love when Michael is sort of looks different depending on how the light hits him. I love the way they have the light there when he walks in between the houses and you see that shadow is just like as tall as the house next to him. There's just something so visually stunning and gripping about that. And then the camera just kind of sits right there as the live action continues and Michael goes into the house, kills the woman. Just, that
Yeah.
whole sequence there. There's just something about it where I really did sit up and get to the edge of my seat and never have been more interested in Michael. I just, easily one of the greatest moments in the franchise for me.
I'm gonna cheat a little bit here because you got me thinking about Halloween 2018, and there are some really great moments in that movie.
Yeah.
And I would say the opening right before the titles, when you got Aaron walking up to the courtyard, and man, this particular moment with Myers, I always wanted Myers to be back in Smith's Grove. There's just something really creepy to me about Myers in Smith's Grove. I don't know why. But him just standing there, not saying a freaking word, but you feel the danger because they have the freaking square around him and they try to keep everybody at a distance away from him. And then you see Aaron, and I got to give David Gordon Green credit directing wise, when to put the close ups, when to kind of show you a wide shot. And when he holds that mask out, and you just see like almost like a blurred look of the mask with Aaron in the background, and then it kind of like focuses on the mask. You feel Myers' rage at that moment. Like he makes that fist, like, oh fuck, it's go time. And just the idea of a guy sitting in Smith's Grove for 40 years. Like you think back to Loomis saying, sitting in a room, waiting, inhumanly patient. And they pretty much showcased that in that one scene. This guy waited 40 years for this night. He knew it was coming. And then as soon as that freaking say something, and then the music comes, I was like, I remember, dude, I'm sitting in the theater, and when he says say something, that music comes, I was just like, oh my God. It was just like such a great freaking moment. So
it's this awesome build. It's this amazing crescendo of like the way they edit it and the way the music goes, and just there is a lot of tension built up there for sure.
So yeah, guys, there's so many amazing moments in this franchise, and we probably just scratched the surface with how many of them there are. But I mean, we could do a full stream on just amazing moments, and you want to talk about each moment for so long. Joaquin, he says, I watched the ending scene from Halloween 4 recently, and it still gives me chills. Epic. The original Halloween is still one of my favorites. Could not agree more, good sir. Could not agree more. Let's move on to the next topic.